Good evening. Call meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. Do we have a volunteer for?
I can't. I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks. I'm
Okay.
leaving tomorrow for New Hampshire.
Okay.
I knew this was going to happen.
All right, that's fine.
I mean, I can do it, but
No,
you
that's
won't get
fine.
it.
I'll do it again.
After
I'll
the
take the
10th,
minutes.
I will not be going back to New Hampshire.
Okay, that sounds
And I'll
good.
do it again.
So, did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes that I sent out today?
Mhm.
I apologize for last minute sending them out.
They looked okay.
Yeah, they look fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make Colleen. Sorry, gotta make attendance. Lori Demalia had informed us she wouldn't be here for a couple weeks, a couple meetings because of personal things. And Liz is not here because she tested positive today. Okay. Does anyone see any corrections that need to be made in the minutes?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right,
Make a motion, accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
Judy, motion. Colleen,
All the same thing.
second. And we approve them, correct? As
Correct.
written.
Mhm.
Okay. Under new business, we have new employees, and I'd like to welcome Gabby, and I don't apologize, Gabby. She is our new admin for Board of Health and Building, and also works in the library.
Wear a
she-
couple hats.
So she's wearing 3 hats, but taking on more hours, and we're glad to have you. Then we also have Phil.
Yes.
Phil Ledger is here. Phil, yes, would you mind coming here, and we'll give you these extra agendas if we need them. So, Phil, you're here because I asked you to come and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then so that we can decide to use your services for the Board of Health. So if you'd take a minute to just tell us a
Okay.
little bit about yourself. You're retired from Holden, correct?
Pardon?
Did you work?
City of Worcester.
City of Worcester, excuse me, sorry.
So, born and raised in Gardner, actually. We were at something on Facebook. What was the first band you ever saw? And it was the Left Bank at Rieta Ranch in 1968 when they used to have concerts. They were a one-hit wonder, but that being said, I've been in Royalston for 50 years. Been on a Board of Health since 1989. Most recently worked for the City of Worcester as Chief of Environmental Health. We ran the Central Mass Regional Public Health Alliance, so I was the Chief of Environmental Health, so my team did all the environmental health for Holden, West Boylston, Shrewsbury, Grafton, Leicester, and Millbury. I've been retired there since 2020. I've been doing per diem for Phillipston, Petersham, Oakham, and Barry.
For septic.
Again, those towns, Barry And Barry has joined the Leicester Alliance, but I'm continuing to do the septics. And Ocam is in the process, and I'm continuing to do the septics there. Peter Sam and Phillipston have some food establishments that I do. But I'm basically, I prefer to just do septics because
Yep, and that's
all
what,
the installers and the engineers, I've worked with basically almost all of them in the area.
okay.
And we're able to coordinate that. Right now, I'm just been filling in, doing septics in Westminster. They're in the process of hiring someone. They had someone, he was coming, then just told them he's going somewhere else. So again, that's just temporary, and it's 10 hours a week, and it's not supposed to be long-term.
Okay,
Then I am retired. What I do with the smaller towns, try to bunch them up sometimes, so I mean, if I have to come out and do a single, I will do a single, but a lot of times, like today, I started off, did septic inspection in Peterson, a perk, then I went and did inspection in Ocam, and then actually I was doing a soil evaluation for someone in Athol, so, you know, kind of bounce them around.
sure.
Hubbardston is part of that swath. I used to do New Salem. I dropped them years ago because it's just kind of on a wing. And then New Salem, because the reservoir breaks them up. You're almost in
Two different
Sunderland or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, all the towns are contiguous. Hubbardston would be part of that, plus Hubbardston's part of the Quabbin. Judy and I, you know, worked together over the years with the MRC. We were involved on the weekly COVID calls in Barry, giving recommendations and dealing with that ongoing. Usually, there'll be an admin that collects everything. You know, comes in through the office. I do encourage. I don't know the status, but COVID did make the smaller towns put things online, like use the technology. You know, we might not have the office hours that people in larger communities have, but if you put things online and you can direct them to them, they can at least get the applications.
Right, that's what we have as well.
And that's good. Ocam finally did that also. So usually perk tests, if they get an application, usually the engineer would contact me and we'll do the booking as far as when and time.
Correct.
It keeps
Yeah,
the,
so everything comes into our office
Yeah.
first. And then, once all the appropriate fees and so forth and documentation's there, Gabby would call you to say, you know, this is what's up. And then you would perform that task, and then the paperwork needs to come back to us in a timely manner. There's a Dropbox out here you can,
Yeah, that's
stuff can
good.
put in. My one question is, for review of engineering plans, do you do that too?
yeah.
Okay, so you can do all of it.
Yeah,
then.
I'm a registered sanitarian, certified
Okay.
health officer, certified soil evaluator, certified system inspector,
Okay,
among other things. But those are the, what you need for septics.
yeah, so we're interested in a new person to fill the position of someone else that just left, to do the septic issues and the engineering plan reviews.
Yeah.
As
go ahead.
as
Sorry.
far as the pay scale, what I recollect was that the first 2 hours for a perk is $75, and then it's so much per hour for each additional hour. And the other tests, we'll have to review the cost structure.
So that is going to, you're low, but I'm not here to gouge anybody, but usually per diem, we just work per diem. So perk is X, plan review is X, inspections are X.
Okay.
Because at the same time, you
Yeah.
know, I'm a contractor, I'm a benefit, there's no benefits, there's, paying retirement, paying mileage, providing any vehicle, doing any of that.
Correct.
So, your fee structure is a little strange though. I don't know what you mean by minor repair. So you have a perk test for a minor repair and you have,
Well, some of those are the fees that the customer pays, not what you're getting
no, I
paid.
understand that. But what's the difference between a perk test for, new construction and repairs? And I get where you could have a separate fee schedule, which you do. Because on a repair, you don't have to do a reserve area. But I don't understand what a perk test for a minor repair. It's either a repair or not. And you're either doing a perk test or you're not. I
Correct.
don't understand that.
I think that's a carryover, and we can make a correction on that term.
And then, yeah, okay, because then, most installations, whether it's new construction or repair, would include at least 2 inspections, so it didn't matter whether it's new install or repair, because they're not building out the reserve usually, so. But, we'd have to discuss that, because I'm interested if you do per diem. That's
Okay.
how all my other towns work, and I just bill you accordingly.
Okay, well, we'll have, if you would email
Yeah.
that, what you are paid by the other towns to Gabby, and then also to me.
Yeah, I don't,
We can, it's inspect at Hubbardston.
inspect that, because you're Kathy.
Yeah, and
Okay,
I'll
so I have your email.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
send it to me, I'll make sure everybody
Okay.
gets it.
And then, I have my cell, I have my email, so I'll always have that, so it's easy. Usually if someone sends me a text, you're gonna get a response fairly quickly unless I'm out of range or something. Same thing with email. And other than that, like I said,
Well, thank you.
I know most of everyone that does work around here, so they know me, so.
Sure. Sounds great, Phil, thank you for,
Any
Coming.
other questions, anything
anybody
else?
have any?
No, I've
Right
got him
tonight?
in my contacts.
Pardon?
I've got you in my
Yes, I do.
contacts.
Okay, well, thanks for coming tonight
Okay.
and telling us a bit about yourself.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. We'll let you know
yep,
soon.
no problem.
Thanks.
See you.
He's overqualified.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff.
Has the 6,000 hats on his head.
All right. I'll wait this folder. Now I can't remember why I put unexpected subjects so
Yeah.
far up
I
in
know,
the
I just
agenda.
noticed that, it's like right there.
There was something. Now I don't even remember why I did it. So rather than wait till the very end, maybe we can bring up the discussion on odor from the cannabis growers in town and move that up, if that's okay with everyone.
Yep, that's because
All right,
they're here.
thank you. So at the last meeting, we talked about trying to come up with some sort of action plan at this meeting. and Lori DeMaio emailed out the site, cannabis, the state cannabis site, and then another email came across, and I also received an email from Tom Bratko as another resident to say that, there's the odor and what can we do about it. And I've been very busy, so I asked Tom if he would take a little time to open up some of these links and maybe give us a short summary. Are you
Sure,
okay with that, Tom?
I can do that, yeah. Well, I didn't do a whole lot.
Whatever you did.
I went on the DEP website and was figuring out who has jurisdiction over noise complaints.
Odor complaint.
Odor complaints.
Right.
It comes up with noise as well, but it's all the same, noise, odor, and dust complaints. And I've been here before when we had some issues with the pallet shop anyway, so I was kind of familiar with it. Pretty much it lands in the Board of Health's jurisdiction. And I did call the DEP and ask them just a simple question, who has jurisdiction over odor complaints? And they said Board of Health. So it's always with the Board of Health. Okay.
Yep.
And that's basically what it is. And they put out this fact sheet that I sent to Kathy. I don't know if she did. And basically it outlines,
I'm not sure if I sent it to you guys.
but it outlines, I'll give you a copy. Anyway. It outlines how you go about determining whether there's an odor issue with complaints, and how to basically the mechanics. I think is the mechanics on how to do it.
MGL.
Okay, but Hubbardston has its bylaw. Article 1 of the bylaw says that the town is responsible for protecting people in the town from odor, noise, and all that other
Correct.
stuff. It's part of Article 1. Okay, when the marijuana companies were going to the planning board, I attended almost all the hearings with the planning board, and I did object to certain things, but one of the issues was the odor that kept coming up. Now, full disclosure here, when I was on the planning board, I wrote the bylaw for marijuana. So I am kind of responsible for it. But no, at the time, I didn't know anything about odor problem, nor did anyone else in town, because obviously there's over 200 people at the meeting, no one ever said anything. So
That's
it's
true.
one of those things. But in the bylaw, it does have the special permit process, which is where the town is supposed to protect it. At the public hearings that we had, both of the cannabis facility managers said that the smell would be 2 or 3 weeks, and that they would try and disguise the smell with flowers, and they would try to grow varieties that don't smell that bad. And I'm pretty sure the planning board took that into consideration when they did it. Well, okay, so now they start planting this stuff and everything, and the people on High Street, several people there already, we started getting some serious smells in like mid-July. And you could hear it, smell it all the way up Route 68. I mean, it was pretty bad. The small facility, which abuts our farm and our property, doesn't see, Paper Crane, I think that was called. That's 40,000 square feet, I think.
Yeah, that's open air, isn't it?
Yeah,
Who's doing open air?
Yeah, but it's 40,000 square feet, so it's just under an acre. That smells pretty bad, and right on our property line. I'm not sure that is as big a problem as the across the street behind Layton's. There's a lot of people that live here a long time, so I know what I'm talking about. That's 17 acres, and I think that's what we're smelling on Route 68. And at that, like I told you, the planning board hearings, they said it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks. Well, Danielle and I were at a meeting 4 weeks ago.
A select board meeting.
Select board meeting.
Well, they basically said we could expect smells from mid-July through October.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not 2 to 3 weeks.
No.
Initially, they had said it'd be just during the time when they were gonna harvest. But now we know it's like starting in the evening time, when as soon as those flowers bud, you start getting the skunk smell, and by like 8 or 9 o'clock, you can't open your windows.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've
So
driven
anyways,
by
that's-
in the evening
that's-
and it's
is it
pretty
not working?
It gets real, I mean,
It's rain.
they can be pretty bad early in the morning time, but then it
Oh.
seems to level out in the, like during the day. But as soon as night comes back, oh boy.
So there's a lot of ways these marijuana companies can mitigate these smells. It does cost money. They've been doing it probably for 100 odd years because they've been selling it illegally and grown it illegally. So there must be some way of doing it. I did find a bunch of things on the internet that said there's ways that they can mitigate this smell. So my asking Kathy to have a meeting is the growing season's just about over. I mean, we're pretty much in another 2 weeks. We'll have frost and it'll either be harvested or it'll be all dead. So it's not for this year.
Correct.
Although we wish we got this able to address this earlier. But the zoning law says that any grower can grow 10,000 square feet of marijuana and put it within 5 feet or something, or 4 feet of their property line, anywhere in town. So someone's on a half-acre lot in the center of town, they could put 10,000 square feet, which is what, that would be just a quarter acre of marijuana. This is an issue that's not gonna go away. And everyone in town may think, oh yeah, the people on High Street, they're complaining again. There goes Tom Bracco again, whining about stuff. But they're the ones who could be sitting here asking these questions in a year from now or 2 years from now.
Yeah. I can smell it at my house, Tom, on
Really?
Gardner Road.
Really?
Not all the time, but when the wind is right.
Right.
Between that and the chicken farm,
Yeah.
you know, I got a pretty stenchy yard. But
And again, if the Board of Health is responsible for the odor complaints, and
Right.
the town and the state constitution says we do have a right not to have to smell bad things like that.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm just respectfully asking the Board of Health to take these things seriously, these complaints, and also to going forward, this through the winter at least, before the next growing season, seeing if there's anything we can do to mitigate it, to
Relocate it.
relocate it, or whatever.
I mean,
I don't know, but
they're gonna be there. They've got their special permit, they've got their host agreement, they're gonna be there.
well, maybe you can go
But
into
I
this.
think that Bowie person, I did notice after the first complaint, he planted a ton of flowers. I think they want to be responsive. I mean, I don't know that they're monsters. I think they probably would want to be responsive.
Yeah.
And there's got to be, I mean, I know there's different, now that growing is happening all over the place, there's different ways to control it with some kind of ozone spray or something for outside or wrap it inside. And the other thing is to find out the strain, because I've been on so many pro-cannabis sites where they're talking to each other about how to do this and how not to upset their neighbors, and they're all saying low odor, and they give a list of low odor varieties. I would be willing to bet $1 million that even though not the one in your corner, but the one across the way says all automatic pots are low odor, any that are part of the Kush family, the skunk family, and there's a third family, regardless of being automatic or needing so much light, are not considered low odor. So if they're planting those, they're violating their permit already.
So you can see the issue.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how you want to proceed or what you want to do, but maybe discussions with the planning board and the select board. I know it's like everything else in life, it's about the money, because it's supposedly bringing in a lot of money to the town. I don't know how much they brought in, if they even paid it, but I don't think they should wreck our property and our property values for this. And the other issue that's going to be coming up will be probably at a future meeting for me personally. My agricultural pond just turned green from algae. So I'm having it tested. But again, contamination of the soil. It's another, I think that would be a pretty big purview of the Board of Health as well. You know, Kathy, you have a pond.
Mm-hmm.
Is yours green?
Partially.
Yeah,
Some open and some green.
yeah. So anyways, that's
Due to
another.
the lack of
No, that's
rain.
for, that's a date, another.
Even though we have underground feed into this pond,
Oh,
the drought was so severe
I don't
that,
think it's relevant for here.
It didn't feel.
but under the cannabis thing, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping-
Al's got a whole bunch of stuff here, Kathy, about all these issues. This is not a new issue or an easy issue.
Right. So the odor issue, we will be voting at the next annual meeting for our updated revised bylaws. So one of the things that we will put in there is about cannabis and the odor issue. And that, you know,
Will the current owner say that they're not, that if you do revise your rules
Well-
and regulations, will the current proprietors say that those are not applicable to them because they've been grandfathered in and
Yeah.
permits have already been granted?
I don't think
but
that
the
happens.
I know.
Is their permit forever? Or is it
No,
come
their
up yearly?
permit, their permit is only for 2 years. From what I was told at the meeting, I've actually not been able to get a copy of the permit, maybe with the new person coming in.
Gabby will give a copy.
We I think if you guys get a copy, if your new clerk would get a copy of their planning board permit, would let you see a lot of it. But in that permit, it said if they had more than 3 complaints, they would have to deal with it, and the permit is only good for 2 years. It's not, and it's not automatically reviewed.
So
That's what I was
they wouldn't
told.
be grandfathered under a bylaw change then?
I don't.
But I don't know.
I don't.
Right.
I don't know anything about that, so.
Exactly.
I don't even.
But,
That's why I brought
that's a
it
very good,
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I looked into what he had mentioned in going from, clerk to clerk to clerk,
Yeah,
and trying to get a copy of the permit, or try to see if it was a calendar, for example, calendar expired permit, 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, or whatever. Nobody could give me any definitive answer as to whether or not the permit was in perpetuity or a 2, 5, or 10-year permit.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed to know.
Could you do that? Because you're the planning board clerk now, aren't you, Sue?
I am Board of Health and Building,
Mark,
Oh.
but I can
Creech is-
ask the planning board
Oh, okay.
clerk.
Right.
That would be helpful for me. I didn't want to make a big request about it, because I know it's kind of,
It's been a little bit crazy in some offices.
yeah. But anyway, that's kind of why I asked Kathy to put it on the Board of Health agenda, and perhaps you can do something and talk to the planning board and the select board, and maybe have another meeting about it. I really think, what I would like to see personally, what I would ask you to do, is to have a joint meeting with the planning board, Board of Health, and the select board, and notify everyone, and have, that's the only thing on the agenda, so things don't get too confusing, and just see what they're gonna do about it.
I mean, both those grow sites are showing up on agendas for change of
Yeah.
permit to do more work.
Supposedly one has already been granted.
It was granted a couple
A
weeks
couple
last
weeks
week.
ago, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
And
they're
that
up.
was
Okay.
that was to enlarge it.
No,
That was to expand it.
no. It was to shake the leaves to get some kind of crystals off of it. I don't know what they're gonna do with the crystals, because somebody else mentioned edibles, so I don't know if they're planning on at some point expanding to also do edibles. So they're planning on staying and investing. So the town's gonna have to address the fact that you can't open your windows or hang clothes outside from July to almost October.
I have
If
some
you
articles
live with it.
here.
I mean, I'm about a quarter, probably more than a quarter
You're-
mile
you're
away
more
from
than a
it, and
quarter
it's,
mile.
you can't open your windows.
Are you on High Street
I
too?
am. The first 2 weeks of it, I honestly thought that was when the baby skunks left their mommy skunks and were roaming around, and that's why I kept smelling skunks at
Well,
night.
I thought it was skunks, people hitting skunks on the road and.
Yeah, and then,
And I didn't see any, and I thought, what the heck, And then I started hearing about this.
well, about the third week, I was like, oh, those
Yeah.
pot people. Because,
Well, the
I
other
hadn't
thing,
expected that.
the other thing too in town is, we have people, a lot of people come through the town, especially on a Sunday at Rihanna.
Hmm.
Is really this something that we want the town to be known for?
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I run 2 businesses in town. Thank God I closed my
there's 2
retail.
businesses right there at the end of High Street.
Right.
I'm sure they're happy.
I wonder
They're
if
not happy,
Of
believe
course
me.
they're not.
Okay.
No.
I own the building in the corner there. I rent it out to Sherry.
Oh, okay.
And I went in there and asked them, is it bothered? She goes, we come in here, we can't even breathe, because the store's closed. We come in here, we can't even breathe.
Yeah.
We have to open all the windows and doors to air the place out. That's how bad it is, so.
And you're considering right next
That's
door.
very good to know, because that would be a place that we could do an actual odor test.
Right. I don't know how you do those, but.
Well,
Did you talk
I
to
was
DEP?
trying to pull up the email that Lori sent, but I couldn't do that.
right.
But she sent some information on that, all
Right.
of that.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
how
that
you.
would be a good, considering that that is what happened, that would be a perfect spot to be able to test from,
Yeah,
because
it's right there.
it's right there.
Mhm.
So that's very good to know.
Yeah, and I've got, I have a bunch of real estate tenants. I haven't lost anyone yet, but, I mean, that's something
Right,
I should really address. I am a small business, so I mean,
yeah.
I have a bunch of articles describing the effects in the neighborhood, strictly from a smell perspective. I have other articles here detailing the effects on property value, et cetera, probably not applicable to the Board of Health. But I'd like to enter some of these articles into the minutes of your meeting here, so that way people, when they hear about the topic, or hear us talking about the topic, that it isn't one specific individual or just one person who has a problem, but this is a problem that affects everybody within a half a mile of that facility, possibly.
Okay, thank you. Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, so how do you want me to proceed? Want me to sit here and talk? I'll sit here and
So
highlight
if you
it.
would, give us the name
I will do that.
of the articles,
I will do that.
and then let us have copies.
I can't do that.
Okay, well, we'll
I
make
apologize.
copies,
No.
but
Well, I'll do that later time. How's
Sure.
that? Okay. This
we
is,
don't have to read entire article tonight, but if you would cite the articles that you want us to recognize,
okay, very good.
because we still need to all read them.
Okay, it's, one is 420 Intel, and the article is titled, "Living Next to a Cannabis Farm Literally Stinks." The next is St. Louis Obispo. This is from California. Now, California was the first state to legalize marijuana use in their industry,
Correct.
of farming industry for marijuana just exploded, and they are still going through the growing pains of establishing rules, regulations, and permits, etc. This is for the San Luis Obispo Cannabis Watch Group, and the title of the article is "Cannabis Production Next Door." This one here is from a website called Police One. 3 hidden dangers found in marijuana grow houses. Okay, so we have 2. We have one on either side. And the biggest and longest one applicable here to Board of Health topic is from the New York Times. Dead skunk, stench from marijuana farms, outrages Californians. Okay, so they basically detail the health effects of living within that half-mile radius of marijuana growing facilities, what type of marijuana they're growing, the stench of the marijuana, the strength of the marijuana, etc. All put together, you kind of get a better idea of what's going on in the growing facility.
Wonderful, thank you. Maybe even just email the
The links to it.
links to these articles
To who?
to me,
I don't have their address.
and
Or
or
inspect
to,
that.
Oh,
Send-
here's one I should probably say too, the last one here. The registered guard, living next to a marijuana grow facility can be an unhealthy experience.
okay. You can send them to inspect at Hubbardston.
Can you write that down on the back of this one for me, please? And I'll do that.
You know it better than I do. Thank you. And so then we'll be able to read them without taking up the whole night for what they are. So under general plan of action, I would like to suggest that, which we haven't done yet, is still write letters to both owners about the odor complaints, that we are formally recognizing there is a problem, and that further action will occur I don't know how else to delineate that at this time, other than the odor was reported by X number of people and so on. So we'll put together a letter. Second, we need to check these permits that they have in regards to what is stated about odor in them.
Right.
I think the third action is at some point, because we are updating our bylaws, that we do make it clear about odors. There are odor guidelines, they just need updating in the plan to include cannabis odor, not just smoke, not just other kinds of things.
There are several towns throughout Massachusetts now, because of the fact that these places are now starting, that are now rewriting their bylaws to outright ban outdoor grows. Now there's the ones that are already signed, they can't do anything about.
Correct.
But to go forward, just that it's not allowed anywhere. Because I mean, these guys, their cannabis commission license is considerably cheaper for an outdoor grow than an indoor grow, like ridiculously cheaper. So they have motivation to stay outdoors as long as they can, and they're not going to address anything unless they're told they have to, or they're risking their license, or they're risking their host drainage, or whatever.
Right.
You know.
So, letter to the owners, review the permit. We're going to review all the information that Tom and Alfonso has brought to the meeting tonight. Make myself a note for the minutes.
The town can't change the bylaw to prevent outdoor grows.
That's not,
Further, I know that's not part of your jurisdiction, but the town can rewrite the bylaw to not allow any more outdoor grow facilities. Because literally, I don't think people fully realize in this town that anyone who wants to go get a license for it, again, granted, it's not easy and they have to go through a lot of hoops, but they can start growing this stuff 10,000 square feet, literally next to your bedroom window.
Yeah, one of the articles that I was able to decipher, in the article that I had, it didn't necessarily deal with the acreage of the farm. It dealt with the number of plants that you're growing. So if you had 10,000 acres with 10 plants, it would be no big deal. But if you've got 1,500 to 3,000, if you're able to put 1,500 to 3,000 plants in a small parcel, 1,500 square foot parcel, then you could create or generate a lot of odor. That would just get carried with the wind.
right, that makes sense.
Right.
So the last point for the action plan would be to, because I do think it's a good idea, if Judy, you and Colleen agree, to set up a joint meeting with the planning board, the select board, and our board. I'm just going to say in a timely manner, because I'm not sure how that will come together, to present these problems and how we can deal with it as a town jointly and come up with an appropriate solution.
Yeah.
So there's 5 points to the action plan.
And you'd want to get that going during their quiet time, because they can't grow pretty soon. They can't do much out there pretty soon.
Right,
To have a plan going forward for the next grow.
growing season.
Yeah.
We all recognize that it's the end of the growing season.
Yeah. We all do too. Is that action plan acceptable, Judy and Colleen? With those 5 points?
Yes.
All right.
Great, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
What are you guys going into executive session for?
We have to talk about Phil.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to MGL 111. We were just going over all of this whole thing, and it does address odor in it.
It does or doesn't?
It does.
It does.
It does, the questions, yeah.
Okay, that was great that they helped us out.
Yep.
'Cause it's been, I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been really busy. And it's great to see support from other people in the town on this subject.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful, actually. Under old business, I'm gonna table review the bylaw updates.
You know what I'm gonna propose is that I sit down with Gabby and we start pulling it together with all the, reviewing
Right.
it and all the edits that we've already made.
Right, so,
Because it looks
I
like it's gonna
understand.
have to be typed in by hand because the original didn't have a digital version to it.
Oh. Okay,
I don't know
we're not
what the
sure
case
yet.
is, because I don't have the files.
Right,
Right.
the files, most of the files have been recovered now, I was told.
But where are they?
However, they're on the computer that Mark is using. And Gabby does not have her own new computer yet.
Yeah.
I just got it
she
today.
got
Oh,
it
you
today.
got it today
Yes.
too.
That's what she
So-
was working on today.
Okay,
So I will be in contact with the geeks. Sandy's gonna give me their information and we're gonna be taking files from the server and putting it on my computer
okay,
within the next couple weeks.
okay,
A
so,
couple weeks is not good enough, couple days. It's gotta be done. The sooner the better.
It just depends on their availability. They've been flat out. That computer was supposed to be a couple of days and it turned into a week. So,
yeah. All right, I will try and address that outside the meeting about the computer and files.
We can always, if we know how to get at them, we can always back them up
Yes.
on a thumb drive and then transfer them. So,
Mhm.
I mean,
If they're
I'd be
there.
I'd be more than willing to do that. And,
Thank you, Judy, to help get this done.
yep. Yeah, because I mean, we've done a lot of work on it and it's just time to
Compile
pull it
it.
all together and
Right, in the new,
and do the final, and start doing final edits.
And we were just there too. I
Yeah.
mean,
we were
just
close
about, we were
to,
just so close.
Yep.
And then that happened.
Yeah, and then we can, yeah. Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of stuff in here too that as I was
in the
going through.
questionnaire.
Oh my gosh, they quote all kinds of MGLs, so we could throw MGLs in, and they're just to look spiffy.
All right, thank you, Judy. That would be great. On the public health nurse position,
I
did you contact the
Did
person?
contact Julie, and again, this was a recruiter is out there somehow and has the Board of Health notification that we have this public health position. And so she came from, again, the recruiter, but she just let me know today that she took a job, a full-time position.
Okay,
She's an NP, so that would makes better sense for her
okay.
to do that.
So our position is still open?
Still open.
And still
So-
looking for someone part-time to
Yep.
work with
So a
us.
nurse that would like to do some public health in the community. Per diem.
We're still looking.
Yep.
Okay. The PHE commitment.
What do you want to do with this?
So there's two parts to all of this.
Yeah.
One was a commitment to the MPHN to continue participation. That was signed and emailed back to Steve Curry, president of the MPHN, for which affects the grant monies that are going through that group, and that we may be in Hubbardston eligible for a portion based on our population. So that was taken care of. So
Yes,
you
I
worked,
saw the email
right.
that they reminded, but it was back in August, so you sent it since August, middle of
Right,
August.
so we're all, but we're caught up on that. And you have worked on the survey.
But you know what? It's really difficult to answer these questions. Number one, we need some of these files that are missing.
Okay.
Number two, because a lot of the questions are in the last 5 years, in the last 5 years, in the last 5 years. And then, you know, and as I was talking with other boards of health, who are also struggling with this, so we're not the only one that's struggling with this thing. And they were saying that a lot of them is just simple, not applicable, but some of these questions don't even have that as an answer. So it's like, is it because you have no staffing or no funding? So, and then some of the, even the not applicable sometimes are not something that we would answer. And there's no space for comments. So what I did is I went through it all twice. I mean, I finally put all the X's in today, but I've gone through this several times, and I just took wild guesses.
Your educated guess.
An educated guess.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you wanted to take it and take a look at it.
Is that okay?
Yes.
And then I will.
You can,
Work
if you,
day?
if you
Are
want
you in the office any?
Thursday?
Thursday. Perfect. That gives me tomorrow. Because I will bring it in Thursday so that it can get scanned and.
Can dump it. Well, I think it's supposed to be it's supposed to be out there somewhere. So we can pull it up and fill it in.
Okay.
So I was planning on coming back on Thursday.
Okay. So you're willing to
Yeah,
fill in the blanks
right.
on the computer.
I'll bring my
And-
own computer so
Okay.
we can skip right
All right.
into it.
Is it okay if I just
Yes.
bring this to the office on Thursday?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want you to take a look at it and,
Yes.
and go through there's 160 questions.
Okay. I will do it.
All right.
Because
And then,
the end of the month is the end of the week.
Right.
And that's when they wanted it by.
Right.
They kept sending, like every 5 days, an email to me asking,
Have you got it done yet?
do I have it done yet? And I sent it back and said, we are going to work on this and get it to you. And they replied, you're fine. Sending it in before the end of the month is fine. And then the email stopped. So I was getting them like every 3 days. Okay, good. Thank you, Judy. This is awesome. There's a lot of questions that that they asked us to fill out
Yeah.
to the best of our ability.
And the only good thing about it is it outlines a lot of stuff that we probably aren't doing. And so the next step I would suggest is that we take a look at this survey and maybe take a look at should we, I mean, they're looking for logs. They're looking for, how you reported it. So I think, like we have the MIS system and we have the Maven system. We should start asking questions of the state. It's like, do you have a database system that when you want this data, right,
Sent to.
can we
Right.
plug it in? Is there software out there to make it easier for us to do what you're asking?
Right.
Because they're asking for logs and things like that.
Yep.
you know?
Sorry, allergies are acting up.
And they're asking about things that we don't traditionally do either. So, I mean, if that's what they want us to do, then we need to kind of look at it all and maybe change up some of the ways we've been doing things. Not that what we've been doing is wrong, it's just that it may
The way
be
we're
incomplete.
It may be incomplete and maybe there's a better way to record.
There's a better way to do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that the state can provide that way of collecting the data.
Right.
That
So,
sounds good.
that's my opinion.
Okay, that sounds fine. Appreciate it. Okay. To just gotta make some notes for minutes. Under COVID-19, anything new to report?
No, not, caseloads are down, way down, which is great. I mean, reports I'm getting back from my contacts is that they're mild cases.
Mhm. Okay, Title V reports. All right, I don't want to lose this. Stick this in here. Let's see if we have any. I'm turning over some certificates of compliance. I tried to reach out because you gave me copies yesterday. I haven't been able to reach them to review what has or hasn't been done at 4 Adams Road and 41 Halfrey Road. Okay. This is old information. We'll just kind of keep this all in here for a little while.
Okay.
I don't see anything new yet until we can go over where these get filed. Okay. This was not a Title V. So there's no new Title Vs to be reviewed at this meeting. Water tests. One Ragged Hill Road sent in made a phone call saying that certain items on their well water test had failed, and wanted to know if they could just do a partial test instead of a complete test.
Is this a new well? Or is this just one of those random tests?
I believe it was new construction.
And the test was done on September of 2021.
Okay, so has it been, it was just newly dug, and have they moved into the house?
Do we know any of those details at all?
No, all I know is they put in a new filter. I don't know much else.
They put in a filtration system, or did they put in a new filter on the faucet?
I think a new system. I'm not 100% sure. This was all the information that I received.
Because lots of times when they dig a new well, the numbers are off. And then you run the water for a couple of weeks, regular use, and then the numbers come down into a more normal range. So that's why I was asking. If they put in a filtration system, I would just give it a couple of weeks a run, regular use, and then rerun the test and
And
see
they'll
where
need
it
to
is.
rerun the full test.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well,
enough
for their own
protection.
for their own sense of comfort too.
Yeah, they should run a full test.
Yeah.
Um,
But I would do it after they've got, the household using it.
so this original test was a year ago.
Oh,
So yes, they should be running a new test
yeah.
without a doubt. And then
What is high on it? The usual suspects.
Sodium,
Yeah,
potassium,
yeah.
iron,
Mm,
manganese,
mm,
calcium.
Plant more trees. The trees will eat
It's
it.
actually a high pH. Sediment.
Mm. Are they extremely high?
A couple of them are.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Kathy.
Okay.
Have them run a.
I would inform them that the One Ragged Hill should do a full test. It's to their benefit for their own health. Since this test was done in 2021.
And if they do have a filtration system, we'll let them know whether it's functioning as it should.
Correct. All right. I'll let you have that back, so you have that and keep that in a file with the requested information. Permit. We do have one permit that came in today for Daniel Proctor - William Proctor Inc. from Lunenburg for a disposal installer's permit. So he's an installer, and he is licensed in City of Leominster, and it's valid. And he has all of his permits attached. And obviously he's probably been asked to do a job in this town at this point in time. Fee has been included. Because he doesn't live in the town, there's no debt owed. And so I'd like to make a motion that we approve this permit. It did just come in. So let me write this name down. Installer permit.
I'll second.
Thank you, Colleen. Motion. Kathy. Second by Colleen. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. So today is the 27th. And this expires on December 31, 2022. All our permits and licenses expire at the last day of the year. And each one has a position to sign. So then we keep the original, they get a copy, they get a receipt for the check received, and we'll go over, we'll find the file that all these go into. There's an installer's from this file. I'll get that out now. I'm gonna hand this right back to you right now. Here you go. Okay, open septic and engineering reviews. So with, a summary was sent in by Tim, our previous inspector, who is no longer with us. He had 28 Mayo, 44 Healdville, 4 Adams Road, and some of the documentation for those are right here in this folder. Morgan Road site and 4 Healdville. I'm still trying to catch up as to where each of these septic/engineering plans, what stage in the process we're in. So these are still open, and so I wanted to list them all. And that is one of the things that we do. As long as something like this is still open, then we keep them on the list for the agenda so they don't get lost over time. Okay? We already had the cannabis growers in town. The Republic trash hauler. Has there been any additional complaints that anybody's heard about recently? Any come in on voice messages or anything?
No, I haven't heard anything.
I had never gotten a call back from the manager that I had contacted. I did leave him a message a couple months ago already, as we had talked
Did
about
they
in a
ever
previous meeting.
call you back? Or?
No, he didn't.
No.
We finally
but-
put our first bucket of recycling out this morning, but I forgot to ask if they had picked it up.
Got picked up.
So, yeah, because Dennis usually hauls that stuff back and forth.
Okay.
They have been, but we also had our driveway redone, so we missed out on a week, but it looks like they're back on track.
On track. And they had said the issue was they didn't have enough
drivers.
Enough drivers. For the reminder to everyone what was going on.
And we haven't gotten any telephone calls from them, because usually they say we won't be picking up recycling this week. And we haven't gotten any of those kinds of calls in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
So I think things are straightening out, but
So my point to the community is if there are any more issues with Republic Trash Hauler, please send an email to the Board of Health and let us know. So I will not close this issue just yet. We'll carry it for one more meeting, and if the community is not having issues right now and the Republic has been able to have enough drivers to do the job properly, then we'll close the issue out. Okay? We have continued issues with 248 Gardner Road and 91 Hale Road. Hale Road is out of our hands. Things have been posted and we're just waiting a judgment in courts. 248 Gardner now also has an RV on the property that someone is living in.
Yes. Right in front.
yeah.
If it is short term, so we're noting it that it's as of today, we are noting that that has been observed for, I noticed it 1 week ago, but we'll use today's date, meeting date, as time of awareness of the problem. There may be an issue in the home that is requiring them to get repairs such that whatever, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. So for the short term, that's fine. Again, it's not proper housing for a long-term situation. And if it becomes a long-term situation, then we can take further action. So we're using today's meeting date as noting when the RV, and it's lived in regularly. I have unfortunately had to make several trips up to Gardner in the last week, and it looks occupied each time I drive by, so.
I just saw it. Was it, not today, yesterday I saw it. I noticed it.
Okay,
I don't think anything's changed. Nothing's changed.
No.
now their dumpster's overflowing.
Mhm.
So we still have issues. I'm not
No,
sure how
we
to
probably
address them all.
Probably should go up to the top of the hill again, and make sure it's not
Being dumped on again?
on, yeah.
Okay. We don't have monetary budget-wise, the ability to take them as a Board of Health, to take them to court, to get things cleaned up. So we can,
We probably need some help from other boards and committees as well
right.
to do that.
Okay, I don't have any turnovers or financial reports for today, other than, actually, we did receive the $155 to be deposited for the installer's permit. So there is $155 that to be deposited. Okay. All right, that brings us, if there's any, is there any other subject matter before we go to executive session that needs to be brought up?
Nope.
Okay, I'd like to put the general meeting on hold at 8, my watch says 8:14 p.m. to go into executive session before we go reopen to public session and adjourn the meeting. All right, the executive session is ending at 8:30 p.m. If there's no other business at hand, I ask that I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, meeting ended at 8:30.